Wow. Yeah. I see it, I call it. It wasn't my call to make, but everybody knows me as I was the mean judge because I disqualified kids. They're not doing it right. It's not fair to the people who are.
Yeah.
So it's and dinner went fine that night.
There we go. All right, welcome to another episode of Expand Your Brand. On today's episode, this is the Korytkowski week, I think. second Korytkowski we've had on. We welcome on Coach Korytkowski. He's the head coach of Westerly High School golf team. And Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Jeff and Austin, for having me. It's nice being out here and with a few former players, and who have both gone on to doing some coaching of their own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's nice to see that you guys come back and give back to the programs.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah, it's awesome to have you on the show. I know we had Albert on here. We had you as well as a coach, your son as well. So it's nice to get the legend that's coached so many of our guests that come on and talk about himself. We have the Coach K coming on. That's Coach K.
Yep.
The Coach K. But before we start our ask about the golf season and the high school team, I want to know what are you smoking today, Coach? What's
Acid Cuba.
Yeah. Is that your go-to?
No, I like to keep it different.
Yeah.
I smoke a wide variety of cigars. Like to change them up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
very good. Jeff, what do you got this day?
Today I have Argyle Cigar of the Week, which is a Cavalier. It's got like this gold on it.
Yeah.
It's pretty
fancy.
Yeah, pretty fancy. I guess you can smoke it. I kind of want to take it off and see if I can get something for it. But yeah, thanks to the Cigar of the Week because that's making me expand myself. It's making me expand my brand on the cigar aspect of everything.
I'm gonna have to do that next episode.
Yeah.
I stuck with the Sweet Jane again, and it is what it is. So.
Hey, if you like it,
like what you like.
I know.
That's the thing. I'd be on Christoph every other week. I think people would be sick hearing it. But let's get into it. So, Coach, the golf season's underway. How does the team look this year? How do you guys feel about everything?
Very young. It's a rebuilding year. We have one junior, 5 sophomores, 5 freshmen.
Wow.
A few of the kids are brand new to golf. So Austin and I have our work cut out for us.
Yeah.
And we'll just try to keep improving. I mean, this was going to be somewhat of a rebuilding year still, but we're young and we'll just keep moving forward, try to get into that win column.
Yeah.
Not going to be easy, but we'll try to get back into that win column.
That's great. I mean, I felt like when I played, there was a ton of juniors and seniors that came out. Yeah, I know you had to make cuts one year. That's how many people.
Yeah, I mean, always the thing I hated doing is making cuts, especially, my feeling with golf is that, it's a sport you take with you for life. Doesn't matter what level you're playing, you can go out and play, you can try to be your best score.
Yeah.
I always hated making cuts. The kids feel bad. They don't feel as bad as I did when I had to make cuts. But just the sheer numbers at times, and I try to keep as many as I can. I've kept people rotating in where the beginners, 3 days this week, 2 days next week, and the other group, just to keep more kids rather than making big cuts. So we don't have to worry about cuts right now.
Definitely not.
As opposed to the year before COVID, I had 47 kids sign up.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I'd like to see more people and maybe get some more golfers out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
This is your 20th.
This is my 23rd year as head coach.
Longevity.
Yes.
Did 3 years as an assistant, and it's my 32nd year coaching with the high school.
Wow, that's great. That's
crazy.
Broken service.
Yeah.
I had 3 years in the 80s, and This will be this is my 29th consecutive since '95
My God.
when I came back.
That's crazy.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
I enjoy
nuts.
it. I like working with the kids and have a good time.
It's
Yeah.
like you and Al Gaucho now.
Yeah, Al came on. Al was an assistant coach in my early years.
Yeah, because I was like the wrestling coach for a long time. I think he was still helped out, but kind of took a step back this year when Albert took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to see that, like, you know, it's nice to see coaches stay that long and
Yeah.
have a good standing program, like with you guys for the program, especially the golf program and everything.
Yeah, for sure. What's it mean to you to have such a long, storied career?
I don't know. I don't really, coaching. I don't really focus on me at all. I enjoy helping the kids. It's, I kind of got into coaching because of when I was a teenager. I was helping my brother-in-law, Bob Botlow. He was coaching Little League.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you come and help? Sure. And I went and helped. And, so I was doing that, at a young age. And then when Sil Serra retired from the high school soccer job, a couple of years later, assistant coach came up, and he came up to me and said, hey, you'd be a good fit for assistant coach for the soccer program.
Yeah.
So I went up there and I started my career. 3 years, it was short,
Yeah.
and then I had to leave because of work, and then 10 years later came back into it.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Ian Jaluzzi had taken over the soccer program, and so I went to help him, and that's where I've been. Just up at the school and doing that sort of stuff. So.
How did you take over the golf program when that's there?
I think it was '98. The coach left. I think it was Everett Peduzzi, and I put in for the job, and Darren Mansfield did. And Darren's a phenomenal golfer and teacher at the same time, so he got the head coaching job, and I just asked if I could, if he would let me, if I could be an assistant coach, and he was all for it, and they were for it because I was already staff. I was already assistant soccer coach.
Yeah.
So it allowed me to take the kids on my own
No,
because
yeah.
I was staff.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
where volunteers can't take the team somewhere, I could. So I did it for 3 years, and then Darren had to leave, and it came up again, and Jimmy Morano and Tucker Terranover interviewed me, and they said I had paid my dues and gave me a shot at it.
You've been there ever since.
And I've been there ever since,
Bowing.
Yeah. So it's been fun, It's been a nice ride. And, it's different now because, like I said, we're trying to get a win again. Something I never had to worry about.
Yeah.
The first 19 years of the program, we were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or winning the division, or second place.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different, but I went through some of the same stuff in soccer when I first started coaching. We didn't have a strong program. I think the last year I coached in the 80s, we were, I think, 15-1.
Oh, wow.
One of the most pleasurable years I've ever had coaching. Same thing. We had one junior, no seniors, sophomores and freshmen. So we were basically a JV team playing Division I soccer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And those kids never hung their head,
Yeah.
They were always out there trying, giving their best, and I'm friends with them, some of them, and we'll chat on Facebook at times and stuff and bring up some of the stuff, and it's, although you're always trying to win and everything, sometimes that's not, the best indication of how things are,
Yeah.
I look at that season there as being super successful just because the way they handled themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they went on to play better as they went on.
Yeah.
They gained a lot of experience from that year. And so.
It's great. So, being a golf coach, what's some of the things maybe that someone wouldn't know that you had to do as a coach, like something that you might have to focus on, or help a kid out with maybe with putting? Like, how do you what's some things? And it sounds like you have like a young team this year, so it's like back to the fundamentals type thing. Like, what's something that someone wouldn't know about golf coaching? Because I think a lot of people just see as coaches get to go out and play for free.
Yeah.
And that's kinda,
Yes, that's always you get free golf. No, it was different over the years. It's changed the golf coaching, because when I first was coaching, we couldn't coach the day of a match, so we had nothing to do but go out and play golf.
Yeah.
On that day, because we weren't allowed to coach the kids. Now we are.
Oh.
So, of course, now you spend a lot more time, like at a match, we don't play anymore. Before, we used to play, go out and play all the courses.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. But as far as Austin can vouch for it, you watch the individual kids and just see where the biggest struggles are. And putting is pretty much universal for all of them.
Yeah.
That's everyone in golf, they want to take out a driver and hit a driver. Happier scorers on the putting green.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So happier game is that one club. So that's one of the most important things to work with. And, we try to break it down and work with the kids at times. And, there's only so much you can work on in a day, because at the same time, you got to get them out on the course and try to teach them how to score.
Yeah.
My focus this week with a few of the kids has been stop trying to hit a club as far as you can and pick a distance.
Right.
I had a couple of kids 260 yards out with no chance of reaching the green, and they're trying to hit a 3-wood out of the rough, to get it close, and I'm like, hit an 8-iron.
Yeah.
You're going to be inside of 100 yards.
Yeah.
You'll get the 8-iron out of the rough. So I told them this week that we're going to be working a lot on the mental aspect. Thinking shots. Don't just hit a shot.
Yeah.
Think a shot.
Right.
Look at your distance. Pick a shot. I got to swing everything I got to get this ball there, and maybe get it there if I hit it perfect.
Yeah.
Or consider getting there in 2 with, a shot I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've been focusing on that.
It's all the golf they watch on TV. So, the guys hitting all these nice, those are the perfect golfers, but everyone wants to hit driver, hit bombs with drivers and all that stuff. And then I can attest to the whole, the putting on the green thing. I mean, if you ever need someone to show you what the kid's not to do, I'll be your guy. I'll get out there. I'll show you. I can get up on the green too, but my putting, man, I'll show you how to show what the kid's not to do. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, I think that's a very interesting aspect too of it, just trying to get kids to understand that it's not all about hitting bombs and getting to certain spots, and that's something I would never even thought of until you pointed it out.
And and I've done it over the years and stuff. And listen, as a golfer myself, I've forgotten, I remember playing down at Disney course with Eric one day, and I'm in a fairway bunker, and I'm looking, and I said, 2. It's like close to 300 yards, and I take out a rescue club because I hit it out of the bunk as well, and I'm getting ready to hit, and Eric looks at me, he says, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "It's 2 shots." You're right. Put the club away, took out an 8-iron, and hit an 8-iron 150 yards and had 150 yards in, But there was, Eric telling me to, stop and think. Because
Yeah.
I just, just out there and I can hit this shot.
Yeah.
But it's different when you're playing for recreation and when you're playing, in the league or, competition with the high school and whatnot. You got to be smart about things. You want to try and post the best score you can,
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have a blow-up hole.
Yeah.
So, so sometimes the coach has to listen.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, speaking of Eric, what was it like coaching your sons while they were growing up and teaching them?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I had them both. I had them both in soccer. I used to pretty much stay clear of them. I used to let the head coach handle them.
Yeah.
So they usually dealt with my kids. I'd make corrections and whatnot if I had to, but most of the time, the head coaches did it.
Yeah.
With the golf team, I was fortunate. I could still do that because when Eric was playing and Steven, I had Angeluzzi helping me out. And so again, I could let Angelo, help them out. I didn't always have to be the one saying something.
Yeah.
But I mean, as you know, golf is so different as far as, like on the soccer field, you can yell at somebody to motivate them, to get them fired up and stuff. Golf, you don't want that.
Yeah.
You want to remain calm and collective. You don't want to get somebody upset. So it's different. I had to cut my son.
Oh, really?
My son Steven, we cut him as a freshman. I was coaching with Darren, and he was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "No, he's not there yet.
Yeah. Wow.
This year." So when I tell people that I've cut people before, I go on to mention that I did cut my own son from the golf team. But he came back the next year and actually played in some varsity matches. So, he worked on his game and he went out and played more, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk to the kids about. Once the season ends, you got to go out and play. You got to play over the summer. You got to play and fall. Doesn't mean you have to go out every day, but you got to get out there and work on your game.
Yeah.
Go to the driving range, hit some balls. You can't just expect that you're gonna pick up a club and go out there.
I wish.
Austin could take some time off and pick up a club and go out there, and he's but he's put so much time and effort into it.
Right.
All that muscle memory's there. If you're not doing it constantly, it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah. Definitely takes time to readjust, recalibrate.
Yeah.
For sure.
I wish golf was one of those sports that you could just pick up. And
That'd be great.
If you like, oh yeah, that's it.
I've seen guys that haven't picked up a club in years, and then they go out there and they shoot 71, 72. It's like, how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
How and what's your secret?
Yeah.
What are you doing? That's great. It's funny that you cut one of your sons. Like, how was the dinner after that?
Yeah.
Fine. My kids never. I never. Played favorites that way. I used to be a swim official. My son Steven was swim YMCA and basically got the high school team started again. But when he was swimming YMCA at championships, I disqualified him.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I see it, I call it. It wasn't my call to make, but everybody knows me as being. I was the mean judge because I disqualified kids. They're not doing it right. It's not fair to the people who are.
Yeah.
So it's so. And dinner went fine that night.
Yeah.
Dinner did go fine.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so it's it's just trying to keep an even thing going. It's your kid, another kid. It doesn't matter who they are. It's just, and luckily my kids were really good. They when I did say something, they listened. It wasn't like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
They learned early on. They were both competitive when they took some golf lessons, and they're trying to chip and they're trying to hit flop shots.
Yeah.
Off the green. I said, okay, see, we can get it closest to the pin, and I'm hitting little punch and runs, and putting it near the thing every time, and they're not. I said, come on, we'll play for something,
Yeah.
And they're hitting all of a sudden. They changed. Now they're hitting punch and runs to get it closer so they could beat me,
Yeah.
because neither one of them wants to lose.
Yeah.
They're both very competitive, so it was good.
That's
we had
great.
a good time.
Yeah.
So with all the coaching that you've done and everything, I mean, you've coached a lot, but we gotta ask, like, where did your passion for golf come from? Like, where did the golf phase and everything start?
When I started working, I was working at Harris, and they had a Friday morning golf league. They were like, "You want to golf?" I was like, "I guess I can try it."
Yeah.
I was playing softball and stuff at the time, so I'm like, okay, and grabbed a set of clubs and started playing. And as you know, the game is very addictive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you have any type of success. Then it gets even more addictive. And I hit the ball okay, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it just, so I started doing that, and then there was an afternoon league that they had, and so then I just started playing, a lot, during the 80s, and then left it for about 5 years. I was working out of town. I really didn't have time. And then when I came back to working, closer to home, when I got back into coaching soccer, I was going out every day playing behind the golf team.
Oh wow.
In the afternoon, I just go down to Winnapogue and start playing. And of course, I know all of the kids,
Yeah.
between, my wife working at the high school, and I used to help out with the plays up there, so I knew most of the kids, and, so then I said, no, let me try golf. I tried coaching golf, and it's been a nice run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds-
for sure.
sounds like
You
it.
know, and as long as they like me, I'll keep on doing it for a while.
Is there a specific memory that's your favorite throughout your time coaching?
Wow. Yeah, there's been a few. Let's see. One was the year you were playing. We talked about recently.
God.
Huge match coming up. And it was this was to make the playoffs and host a playoff match, or get in as the number 2 seed, or go somewhere else. And it was a huge match for us, and looking forward to it. And a little while before leaving my house, I get a text message that 5 of my 6 players are ineligible to play because of grades. And
For the record, I don't think I was one of them.
no, I think you were the only one that wasn't.
Yeah, so.
And I had some really good students, but it was one of those things where it was that day, everything had to be in, and people were missing it, so it was progress reports.
Yeah.
And so of course I'm texting and asking everybody what's going on, and it went all the way down to everyone was cleared except one kid, and he had to do a project the next day to be eligible, but the kids went out that night, and they killed it.
Yeah.
They really did. They ended up winning. We ended up going, I think, as the number 2 seed. We didn't even have to play in a playoff match.
Yeah.
And it was great, But I let them all know where we stood going into it, and made the final decision whether to let the other kid play or not. And it did. And, you know, so that was one really good memory. My second year coaching, we went undefeated.
Wow.
So that was a whole season of memories,
Yeah.
you know. And then a few years back, John Reed, who played for me, he ended up finishing 4th at states.
Wow.
And as I say, the #1 public school kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'Cause
yeah.
the only
Seriously.
3 that he fell behind were 2 Hendricken kids and Moses Brown.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
It's a really good run.
Yeah.
he had held the leaderboard for until the last 2 groups came in on the day.
Wow.
He was the first group out,
Wow.
and he held the leaderboard for the entire day.
Wow.
And everyone was like, "Who's this kid?"
Yeah.
And so that was very pleasant.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. And for yourself, you know, I'm sure you mentioned you played Disney. Do you have a favorite course around Rhode Island as well? Do you have any favorite courses around the country or anything that you played? Or even Connecticut, because we're down
Yeah.
there.
I mean, my favorite course is Shelter Harbor.
Yeah.
You know, I love playing there. It's absolutely unbelievable course to play on. Been fortunate. You know, we've gotten out to Fisher's Island, which is
That's awesome.
a treat in itself.
Yeah.
You know, so we've been out there a number of times and played. And for around here, there was and I played Misquamicut Club. Another, you know, fortunately I've been able to get on a lot of nice private courses. We played Point Judith also, so you know, all of them. I've been fortunate enough to play Bay Hill.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yep. And Lake Nona down in Orlando. And again, as we were talking earlier about networking,
Yeah.
through Eric,
Yeah.
his one of his college buddies is a member at Nona, and so he gets on there, and he got us on to Bay Hill because they're a reciprocal course on the days they're closed. So it's nice to know people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to get on. Eric's got to take you to one of his boys' trips. So he goes on down to like Pinehurst and all those. He's just got to invite you down there.
I know. When you gonna get the
You're
call?
done. I know. When you gonna get the invite for that?
That'll be one of these last minute ones where when somebody bows
Yeah.
out. I always get the last minute phone calls. Can you come and play today? I get it. I got a last minute call a couple years ago with Austin to play in the Millimackie tournament.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, so I'm always that fill-in guy.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
but it's a pleasure. I'm trying to get some of my buddies to. We've got some courses around the country we want to go and try.
Nice.
So, yeah,
That'd be fun.
it's
Bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, you know, and you start looking and you get these advertisements for all these places around the country, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be a great trip. So we're looking at one in Tennessee, and maybe taking a road trip from there down to Georgia and playing one in Georgia. So
That'd be fun.
I will say Georgia is probably one of the coolest places to play golf.
and this course here is up in the mountains,
Yep.
Macklemore.
I haven't heard of it, but I've played a couple courses in Georgia, and it's just like, it's a mixture of Florida weather with like woods from the Northeast. It's unbelievable. I would probably move down there tomorrow if I could.
Really?
I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. What is your go-to golf ball that you play?
Right now it's the Titleist AVX.
Yep. Okay.
That's been the one that I've really been liking lately. That Pro Vs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I give all the other ones to Eric.
Yeah.
When I get some TP5s or whatever, I'll give them to Eric because he'll hit pretty much anything.
Whatever, yeah.
If it's a decent ball, he'll hit it.
Sounds like my dad.
So I just kind of stay to the Titleist.
Yeah.
I like them the most.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad does the same thing. He gives me all the ones that are not Titleists. He knows I'll lose, like, the craft lands or something like that. He's like, you can have these.
Well, like, you know, the TaylorMades, the TP5s, I mean, they're right on that same level as the Titleist and stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, I look and I see, and my club's a TaylorMade.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's not the ball that I usually hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask too. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit off there, but the relationship with Shelter Harvard and how that's been for the golf team and stuff. I want to ask that question as well too.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
So when Shelter Harbor was first opening, they came down to the golf team to talk to the kids about the caddy program.
Yeah.
And I had talked to Dave Tiedemann, the head pro, and you know, he was like, maybe in the future, you know, we'll be able to, you know, do something for you and maybe get you in here. And I was like, oh, that'd be great, you know. So happened to be the end of that year. Eric was working at the course. I think Andy Lynch was, and there might have been one or two other kids that were working there. And we just we were playing a tournament at the end of the year. Eric, Megan Doherty, I think I forget who else.
My former teammates.
I think Andy. I think it was Andy and maybe Will.
Traver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were playing a tournament, and at the tournament happened to be Mr. Beals, who was a member at Shelter Harbor, and he was on the golf committee. So he came up to me and said, have you thought about asking Shelter Harbor? And I said, well, we're talking about it. He says, oh. He said, great. He says, I'm on the golf committee, and I'll put in a good word for you guys.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had him in our, you know, in our backing, and so when it came time, we asked, and you know, that winter I emailed them, and they had me come on in to talk to them about it, and they said, we're going to let you practice this year.
Wow.
So that's how we got our start, and everything went well. The kids all, you know, behaved. Everybody loved us. So the next year I asked if we were going to be invited back, and they said, yeah, and you can bring the other teams and play matches if you want.
Oh,
Wow,
awesome.
that's
They
great.
said, we'll see how they do here.
Yeah.
And of course, it's in hindsight after that,
Yeah.
it's you know, we've never looked back.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean they treat us, you know, unbelievably there. Can't say anything about it. You know, they're much busier now than they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at Shelter Harbor, you know, they cut out. They used to have a lot of outside events. They cut it in half the other year, and you know, Dave was saying that we were the first ones that they said they're in. You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
so you know, when they were going down the list to see who was going to be out and who was going to be in, and we got in, and so it was again, like I said, what Dave does for us there and the membership, you know, liking us to be there. It's been great. It's been a nice relationship. We did, I think the second and third year there, we did some work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one day we worked for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And at the time, Ed Walsh was the head greenskeeper there, and you know, he gave us a couple of little jobs, and what he would do is, in his newsletter, he had to write an article in the newsletter. Every 2 months they do a newsletter, and he took pictures and always did his article on us
Nice.
working. And the third year I said, what are we going to do for work this year? He goes, they accept you. He goes, they realize that you guys are good for us, you know, for the course. So anybody that was skeptical, was not skeptical anymore. So, like I said, this is our 17th year there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just after they opened, so we started there in '06.
06. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. That's,
Yeah,
that's
it's,
great.
and hopefully it'll be a long time
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Like I said, Dave is just the best person. He's our go-between with everything, and he'll usually do something for the kids. One day he'll give them a putting lesson, or show them some recovery shots or whatever. He'll do something different every year. So
Yeah.
Shout
And,
out to Mr. T.
Yeah, Mr. T.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. T.
A former
was-
guest.
Yeah, former
Yes,
guest. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But he's just, and they'll do go over rules.
Yep.
So they help out with rules and stuff. That's probably one of the toughest things in high school sports.
Yeah.
Because even a lot of adults don't play by the rules.
Right, yeah.
Or think they know the rules
Yeah.
when they don't. So that becomes an issue of making sure that everything's right, because their scores, if you don't qualify as a team, you can qualify as an individual. So you want to make sure that everybody across the entire state is playing by the rules.
Right, yeah.
So rules get to be very big.
Yeah. No mulligans, right?
No.
No.
No mulligans, knowing when you can hit a provisional
Yeah.
and when you can't.
Yep.
And that gets to be a little tricky, I mean, I've learned a lot from, doing rules with some of the pros, as far as, like hitting a provisional, you got to hit a provisional while you're there.
Yeah.
You're going to hit a provisional, you got to declare it now. You can't go forward, then come back, say, yeah, I'm going to hit a provisional.
Right, yeah.
Too late, you lost your chance.
Yeah.
And don't hit a provisional when there's a hazard,
Yep.
because if you hit a provisional and you're in the hazard, even though you can play it out of the hazard, you can't. You got to play your provisional.
Yeah.
So, things like that. And but that becomes one of the things trying to sort out.
Yeah.
And listen, when we make mistakes ourselves, our undefeated season, we were 15-0-1, and it should have been 16-0, because we penalized my player for hitting the wrong ball. And then afterwards I realized that he had hit it out of the sand trap, and there was no penalty for hitting the wrong ball out of the hazard, because you couldn't identify your ball.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
again, found out, I was reading through a rule, and what I do a lot of times is I'll open up the book and read a rule.
Yeah.
Whatever page it opens to, okay, what's this, and I happened to stroll across, that rule, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
but it was after the fact, it was done and over with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but, so, it was something that we could have corrected at the time, didn't, so, you sign for a higher score,
Yeah.
you get the higher score,
Yep.
Yeah.
so, but,
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions
Yeah.
Yep, I think that's all the questions for you, Coach K, about your personal coaching career and golf love, a passion, and everything. Let's cut it to a quick break for our sponsors, a word from our sponsors, along with the Cigar of the Week, and then we'll jump into just regular news and sports updates that's going on in the world now.
Welcome to Vintage Cigar Lounge, the place where you escape to, not from. A place where your cigar options are limitless. A place where friends come together and bond over the finest cigars and drinks. A place where your selected few can retreat to and enjoy premium cigars, great conversation, and your liquor of choice within the privacy of our private rooms. Looking for a place to escape to? our doors are always open.
Hey guys, this week's golf cigar of the week is the B2 Viso Jalapa from Cavalier. Great thing about this guy is it's medium in strength, full in flavor. It's got this gold diamond on it that you can smoke through. Gold like the golf game that you tell your girlfriend about, but your boys know otherwise. It's under $12. Come grab it, impress someone. Okay? See you next week.
All right, we're back from a word from our sponsor. Thanks, Vintage Cigar. I'm also enjoying the cigar of the week. Thanks for helping me understand different cigars.
Yeah.
I'm always going to a Christoph. It's always nice to try something different. But let's get into it. I mean, we have the sports, some sports talk to talk about here. We'll talk about the NBA playoffs that just happened recently. So the Celtics won.
Yeah.
They won by 13. They were up by like 30 at one point
Yeah.
or something like that, and they beat the Hawks 112-99. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that. Did you watch the game at all, Coach? Or?
No.
Yeah.
No, I worked late yesterday, so I didn't get to watch anything. By the time I got home, I passed out.
Yeah.
So I'll catch up on all the scores today.
Yeah. What do you think about the Celtics this year?
I'm not a Celtic fan.
Oh,
so
you're not?
No,
Who are
I am
you?
not. I'm a Knicks fan.
Wow.
They won too. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
We haven't had the greatest of seasons
Yeah.
lately, but we're getting better.
Yeah.
Definitely. The Knicks look pretty good, actually.
Yeah. What is it? Well, it's like Brunson kind of like helped out with the turnaround a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Or,
And
Yeah.
Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both of them.
I mean they definitely had a big improvement this year.
Yeah.
You know, they're a competitive team now. At least for a few years, weren't very competitive at all.
I can imagine.
I know.
You know, and nothing seemed to work out for them.
Yeah.
But Celtics they've been on a great run. And local guy coaching.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that was I didn't know him. I knew his dad.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I used to coach soccer against him, so his dad was a great guy. So, like I said, I'm sure, I know he played. Hendricken, I think he went to.
Yeah. Joe went
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
He went to Hendricken.
Because he was from Johnston, so he played at Hendricken. But yeah, he's done a great job with him.
Yeah.
So I think he's earned staying on.
Yes.
Yeah. Big time.
I
Big
know
time.
it. They look good. I think that they're gonna. I mean, they got to be the favorite coming out of the East. I think. I don't know if the Bucks or like Philly can compete with them, honestly. But we'll see.
Philly won yesterday too.
Yeah.
And Harden had a good game, but I think there's a big difference between those. I mean, besides the Knicks and the Cavs, I think they're very close in that first round. I think there's a big difference between the 1 seed and the 6 and 7 and 8 seeds. Like, I just feel like everyone is so. There's a big, huge talent difference on that. And, and then like the Celtics blew out the teams and blew them out. The Hawks. I mean, the Philadelphia won pretty easily too. And I know the Bucks are playing the Heat today, and I think they should be able to blow them out.
Yeah.
But then we have on the other side of the West is kind of it's the Wild West. I guess. It's just going to be a shootout between all those teams and who they play. I mean, we had my Kings. I'm rooting for them very hard to beat Golden State, but they beat Golden State last night, which was a crazy game, high scoring game, 126 to 123. But Kings turnaround this year has been unbelievable.
Unreal,
Big turnaround for them.
Yeah.
They look great. They have all the pieces.
Right.
Like Harrison Barnes, Fox, Sabonis, yeah. Like they are they're the real deal. They could be pretty good and make a deep run.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Brackett, they announced today. Today we're filming on Sunday. I know the episode comes out on Wednesdays, but I think they announced today that Mike Brown's going to be the head coach of the year, which is, 17-year drought from the playoffs, and I think I was telling you, Austin, in the last episode that they haven't been on ABC in like 17 or 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was like their first like national TV game on ABC, and I know had a friend there that was at the game last night, and he said it was just crazy
Yeah.
atmosphere. Like the beat, obviously.
Yeah,
That
that's awesome.
The whole, I don't know how we came up with that marketing idea. I laughed at it first, but I'm like, light that beat.
Yeah.
Let's go. get the spotlight going. But yeah, the more playoff games today. I think the Bucks play, and the rest of the West plays today.
Yeah.
But let's hop into the golf. I mean, the RBC Heritage game going on, which is a tight one. It's Fitzpatrick's 14 under, Cantley's 13 under, Spieth is 12 under, Hubbard's 11 under, Fleetwood's 11 under, Tommy Moore's 11 under, Sky Scheffer's 11 under.
Yeah.
So on. Matt Kuchar 10.
packed
Yeah,
leaderboard.
It's a pack. That's a lot of guys. Ricky Flowers up there too.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 under. So, I mean, Coach, what do you think about that? You've been watching any golf this year too?
Not as much.
Really? No.
No, just right now it's just been busy time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now things are starting to settle down, so now I'll be able to watch a little bit more. On the weekends, settle in. Like today, finally not working a day.
Yeah, you can relax. Yeah, I know you got the very,
Kick the feet up and just
yeah.
watch golf and basketball
Yep.
all afternoon.
So I'll probably watch
Today,
the end. Yeah.
Yeah, that shirt that you're wearing is very like relaxed vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Very like tropical. I'm ready,
Yep.
ready for the nice weather. I love it. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on it, Austin?
I don't know. There's so many good guys at the top. You don't see this that often. I mean,
With all
top players in the world within four shots of the lead. I mean, really anyone's game. It's definitely going to be an interesting afternoon, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, I mean, Scheffler's been playing well.
Yeah.
And
Cantlay, as slow as he is, he's.
Speed.
Did you
I
see?
gotta put on.
Yeah.
Did you see when Cantlay made the hole in one? He tweeted afterwards. I guess I'm speeding up or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He went out to Kepka.
Schauffele's there too.
Yeah.
I know. It's a packed leaderboard for sure.
Kuchar.
Justin
Yeah,
Rose
within-
playing well.
You got all of those guys within. You got 16 guys within 4 strokes of the lead.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
gonna make for a
Shootout.
real good finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
Well, especially with those earlier groups.
I
You
know.
know,
This
if
guy-
somebody catches fire, then
It's pretty gettable too right now. Justin Thomas is 5 under through 9. Hatton's 4 under through 7 today. So it's
Yeah.
definitely the people are attacking and it's definitely going to be I mean, Hilton Head's a placement course.
Yeah.
It's pretty short, but you got to be in the right place in order to see the greens and have good angles. So it's definitely gonna test the course management for sure.
Big time, yeah. Morikawa's 2 under today too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3. So
Yep.
it's gonna be. Can't wait
he's
to
another
flip
fun
that.
one to
Yeah,
watch.
I like him a
Morikawa.
lot. Yeah.
Yes.
I like his.
He's
I
good.
enjoy.
Yeah, he's one of my
He is good.
favorite golfers. But all right, last question, Coach. And you're a Vikings fan, aren't you?
Yes, I
What do
am.
you think about your Vikings? Tell us about your NBA, NFL draft is coming up. It's called the NBA. NFL draft is coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been different because I mean we did better than we were supposed to last year.
Right.
So I think it got everybody's hopes up, but we weren't that caliber last year. I mean, we played a lot of close games, won those. Now it's that whole salary cap thing.
Yeah.
They've been playing around trying to get under the cap. So the draft. I mean, we definitely need cornerbacks.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a quarterback replacement somewhere here.
Yeah.
At some point, we do have to hopefully draft somebody who can finally take over the team.
Yeah.
We haven't had much success at that lately.
Yeah.
We have to keep getting established quarterbacks to come in. So that also costs you more money.
Right.
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So if you can get a young kid in and get him drafted, you have him for a little while,
Right.
Yeah.
at a lower price tag. So,
You're not a Cousins guy.
no, I think Cousins does a good job.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's that big game guy. I thought he played well in the playoffs. Yeah, he made a terrible throw at the end. You know, they focus on that one, but I mean, I thought he played well in that game.
Yeah.
Just the whole team didn't, match up.
Yeah.
And they still had a chance. But yeah, I don't mind
Interesting.
Cousins.
The NFL draft and everything, the dynamic with the quarterback changing and everything, it's going to be very interesting this year, the offseason.
Lamar Jackson news too, that
Yeah.
where he's gonna go. No one knows if he's staying or going.
Right,
And,
right.
Beckham, I think, got signed by
Yeah,
the
he
Ravens.
did.
Yeah, and then him and Lamar had a party together.
Yep.
Which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but a lot of rumors of where Jackson could go to the Commanders, or he could go to another team.
Yeah.
They've been talking about Minnesota.
Yeah. Would you
Um,
like him on your team?
Yeah, I mean, how can you not?
Yeah.
I mean, he brings another dynamic to it.
Yeah.
Especially, our offensive line was improved this past year.
Yeah.
There's still some holes there.
Yeah.
And at least he can run away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a big help when it's another weapon back there with his legs.
Yeah.
Cousin does all right when he has to get out of there. He does when he should.
yeah.
But there was a few times where I've seen him where he could have just ran and gotten the first down, and he's throwing a ball. It's like, get the first down.
Just
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Move the
Right,
chains.
so the chains, yeah. Cousins is he's a nice guy, but I think
Yeah.
he needs to I think you're right. I think he struggles with the big time, even on national TV games. He has a hard time with those.
He did better this year.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have that killer instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's in that sport you need it.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
got to be aggressive. You got to, don't worry about. You can't be worrying about throwing a pick or throwing it in. You got to, throw the ball to Jefferson, and
Yeah.
you're in doubt. Throw that ball up and give your best player a shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
You know,
seriously.
don't throw it a 5-yard pass
Yeah.
when you need 15.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's everything that we have today, Coach. It's been awesome to have you on. It's great to see
it was
you
a
again.
pleasure.
It's been a
Good to
while.
see you. Yes, yes.
It's awesome. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
the golf community and around Westerly, and thanks for all your work, and thanks for coaching me and helping me out with my game.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I can't say enough
Yeah.
good things about you either, so thank you very
Yeah.
much.
I know all the guys will too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I run into Albert every now and then.
Yeah.
We run into each other. No, it's great. Like I said, I love seeing different guys that I coached out there coaching. Brian Williams and
Yeah.
Johnny Siciliano and just so many different people out there that I coached out there coaching. It's nice. It's nice to see. Like I said, I like when everybody's giving back. I know you coached over with my friend Neil.
Yeah. Neil,
A great guy.
Yeah.
Can't say enough about Neil. We go back long way.
Yeah. Neil's one of the best guys out there. Always does great for programs and looks out for the kids, and definitely deserves the world for coaching basketball. It definitely has his I don't know how to say it, but he definitely deserves the lottery or something like that, because he's just a top notch. What he did at Wheeler was changed the whole just the dynamic in the program, the attitude over there, and buying new gear, making sure the kids look professional when they went to games, and handle themselves well, and I'm glad he's in a better place now with he's not dead at East Lyme, and everything there. He's glad he's over there, and that's a great program for him to be a part of, and he's doing
absolutely,
fantastic things. But so happy to have Neil as happy to have Neil as a coach and a mentor as well too.
Yeah.
So always good. But thanks so much, Coach.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you.